All right, folks, welcome to the second session of Read30 x30. Less folks here, but yeah, I think we'll sort of rearrange the structure to not have breakout rooms and we'll have more group discussions. Um, all right, so I think we can start with looking at the leaderboard. Ankita, can we see the leaderboard? I think that is the gamification part of it.
I'll try. Let me see if I can share my screen.
All right. Quick check. Is anyone using the Notion template, the Notion checklist that we have? Is anyone using
Can
that?
you see this?
Yes.
So wait, let's go. Yep. So I think this works for now.
Awesome. Awesome.
So right now we have on top tied three people, which is Alok, Raj, and Akshay. So they are the three people who are on top, who have done all the onboarding activities and read every single day of the Read 30x30 till now. After that, we have quite a few people. There's Vikas, Rajat, Agrata, Ankita, me. And yeah, these are the four people who have one thing or one day left over. And yep, then we have everyone else who is getting along well as well. So,
All right. Cool. So I see a lot of faces here as well. So folks who are on the call, like how has your experience been so far? Did you get to read more or less the same as you were doing last month? Yeah, how's the experience going? We can just start with that, and then we'll go into the actual agenda of the call.
Okay. I was reading zero last month, or the last 2, 3 months. So I think even if I read one page, I think that's a progress, which I did quite a bit. I think I need to change my timing because I kept the timing as just before bedtime. And since it's a non-fiction book, I end up sleeping while reading. I have to now change. Like this happened yesterday. I was reading the book and then I slept off. So I did post my dailies also. So yeah, I think I need to shift the time a bit to a time where I don't sleep just after reading the book. So
All right, all right. Very nice reflection. Anyone else wants to share?
It is the same with me. It's like I've never been into a reading habit before. And also I was like out of station till 2nd of October, and it took me like 2, 3 days to get into the flow of reading every day. So I actually started reading from Wednesday night or Thursday, I think. And then started posting my dailies. Yeah, but I've read half of the way. I started with Little Prince. I thought I'll start with Ikigai. I've read half of the book earlier, but then I was like, "Nahi, Little Prince hi theek hai, wahi hai." So I started with Little Prince, and I've read half of the book in like 3 days itself. I'm happy like getting into this habit. I hope it continues.
All right. I'm assuming Little Prince is your backup book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with me as well. The first day, I was like, no, no, this feels like too big a commitment. Let's start with the easy one, and then I completed the easy one. So now I don't have any easy ones left. So I am forced to read my main one. But yeah, at the same time, I'm looking out. I've ordered one. I think I asked my sister to sort of find an easy, fun book to read, and let's see how that goes. Right. Saiti, how's it going for you?
Yeah, it was great. The main purpose why I started reading and why I'm here was like get my reading habit back and calm my mind down before sleeping. And it feels like incredible right now. I didn't do a lot of time at a time. It's like 20 minutes. I started with 30 minutes, but then on the third day it felt like only 20 minutes, and then I fell asleep. It is a goal for me to fall asleep like in a calm way. If not, I was like really trying hard. It will take at least like 1 hour, even if I'm like on bed and even without any gadgets or anything. It takes at least like 1 hour because I'm in this transition period of night owl to early bird. So I really find it hard to sleep in the night, but it's like really working. I didn't thought it would start working right from third day. So, but yeah, it's like really nice. It feels great. And I'm going on with my main pick only, getting things done. So hopefully, it, I am still in chapter one, but I'm just happy that I'm doing it continuously. Like even yesterday, I did it. I'm not posting yet though because I'm just reading. Yesterday, I read for just 10 minutes, and I couldn't find a line that I like. I really like. So I'm like, okay, I'll see that in the morning, and I just slept off. So yeah, that's what happening, and it's been really great.
All right, all right. So actually, we can thoda relax the criteria a bit of dailies. It need not be a line that you really like. If you read for 10 minutes, you can just pick the first line that you read, just post it there, and it is just to so from the structure perspective, it does two things. One is it helps you move to the next page. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is ki something is very intimidating, or like maybe the language is not that maybe like I'm finding it hard to read. So what I do is just going to the next page. I'll just put that in the dailies so that you just move to the next page. It thoda unblocks. At the same time, uh, when you post and whenever someone opens Discord, you can see others. You can see new posts, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is sort of like a nudge to sort of so if you say that, hey, you have to read 50 pages every day, then that is something you can say no to very easily. But if you change that to, hey, you just need to read one page or even one paragraph, or the minimum is read one line, just read one line, just copy paste the same thing in your daily, you're done for the day. I think that also is like, I think just adapted from Atomic Habits, wherein James Clear says ki just make the like basic or the core of the habit so simple that you can't say no to. And once you start reading, I'm pretty sure you'll read more than you intended. But yeah, if you just keep the core as simple as possible, I think that sort of works. So awesome. Cool. Maybe we can share our reflections as well. Ankita, how's your reading going?
I am so glad I'm doing this right now because even I'm in a life transition medium sort of a thing where I've just moved from a remote job to a offline in office job to a new city, and I can literally see myself that had it not been for this thing, I would have sort of dropped reading very easily. I would have just stopped it because like when I'm even my sacred hour is supposed to be in the morning, first hour of morning. But at the end of the day, I'm like, nahi, because I'm also updating the leaderboard. So I'm like, after updating the leaderboard, I keep my laptop open, I open my Kindle, read a few things, post my dailies, mark myself on the leaderboard, and then go off to sleep. So had it not been for this thing, I'm pretty sure I would have not read. Even my last day का is missing because leaderboard day 2 बजे update किया फिर सो गए. So yeah, I'm so glad this is happening at least at this point in my life.
This is pretty interesting. Like I'm just thinking, ki, like next cohort, mein, should we rotate the leaderboard updating
I don't
activity?
mind.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Yeah, I can relate to that because not in this cohort, but whenever you have a leaderboard and if you are doing it yourself, you cannot see your name below, na? You got like
Actually,
kaise?
ऐसे
All
that
right.
is why if you notice even you have missed a few days, but मेरा just एक दिन miss हुआ है अभी तक.
Yeah. I
Because
think
I'm like updating the leaderboard. Keep the leaderboard open on my laptop in front of me only. I quickly pick up my Kindle, read whatever I have to, send a post, and then mark myself कि मेरा भी हो गया चलो. I'm also on top.
awesome. Okay, I'll do a quick reflection as well. So yeah, I think for me, I think the book that I'm reading is very sparse, so to say. It is like there's not a lot of aha moments yet, but I think like I'm using dailies as a way to um, store my highlights, and how it is helping me is course, I've missed posting somewhere, but like I have it highlighted in my Readwise app. So how I'm doing it is like I start reading and then I stop when I find something interesting. And sometimes that is done in 5 minutes, so which is pretty cool. But sometimes it takes like more than 30 minutes as well. So it is like being forced to sort of post something ki हाँ क्या पढ़ा आज. I think that is something, and that part is something that I am really liking about the overall structure. All right, so I think we can move to the agenda, which is we'll just read aloud your favorite passages that you read this week. So if you have physical copy, you can take that. If you have Kindle version, you can open that on your Kindle or online app, and we can start. Anyone wants to volunteer, we can go first.
I'll do. So there are 2-3 lines that I like till the pages I have read abhi tak. So one is about grown-ups. So it is like it says all grown-ups were once children, although few of them remember it. And after a few lines it says that grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. It is basically reflecting कि जैसे जैसे हम बड़े हो रहे हैं हमारा वो चाइल्ड नेचर थोड़ा गायब हो रहा है एंड वी आर गेटिंग एग्जॉस्टेड एंड गेटिंग इनटू फिगर्स एंड एवरीथिंग जो कि नहीं होना चाहिए. वी शुड हैव लाइक आवर चाइल्ड नेचर ऑलवेज within us. And then there is two lines more which says to forget a friend is sad. Not everyone has had a friend, and if I forget him I may become like the grown-ups who are no longer interested in anything but figures. Yeah, so these are like few reflections grown-ups ke related jo abhi tak aaye hain Little Prince mein, which I actually I also relate to them, but yeah, and find ki अच्छी चीजें हैं.
Yeah, I think it's about the phase that you are in, right? I also read this last year, and so yeah, it's sort of the phase wherein yeah, it's just sort of it hits you at the right moment, and then you're like, अरे हो तो रहा है ये कुछ करना चाहिए इसके बारे में.
It actually feels like इतना personal attack नहीं करना था.
Yeah. Awesome. Who wants to go next?
Sure, I can go. I'm just so I got my hard copy just day before yesterday. Till now, I am reading in a PDF, so I'm just copy pasting that here. The lines I like. The first is like the quote. Your ability to generate power is directly proportional to your ability to relax. I know it like firsthand, like being stable and like being relaxed, even if like something is falling apart. That's a huge trait I used to have. So I miss that very much. But in during 2019, it was the scene. So I know it firsthand, like being relaxed in situations that opens a new door to think in not just one way. Like I could come in can have like 2 to 3 different alternatives, even if something is like falling apart, like plan A, plan B, plan C. I can come with that, but that can only be achieved according to me at least. So it can be achieved only if we are like relaxed and stable, like when in any situation. So as soon as I saw that line, I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is actually one of the reasons I'm reading this book as well. So I'm like, yeah. So that's one thing. And the second is the information we are taking in on daily basis, and like the thoughts we are having. uh I mean, like consuming from the outside, like a lot of content we have been taking in, and even the scenarios, there are like different things happening like right now in our lives. So taking that in and having like so many thoughts about it, which can actually get into the like anxiety mode, or like too relaxed mode, something like that. But so this is like we have like a lot of things going on, and it's fine. I felt like reading this is like we are not equipped for this. So it is totally fine if something goes wrong. So we can get back on it. We don't have to be sorry or like, oh God, it's like end of the world. So yeah, these are the two things. These are from two separate paras, but yeah, these are the lines I loved so far.
All right. I think this is like relaxing, making relaxing a priority is sort of like an adulting thing. It's also a privileged thing wherein after a point only you can think of, okay, I can like do both. But yeah, once you start doing this, it's very hard to go back because now, yeah.
No, I'm like literally in frustration state right now because I know the taste of that. I know the power of that. I've been that, but now I'm not that. So it's like really frustrating and it gives like, anxiety sometimes. So yeah, that is why I'm like back to that. I need to get into that stable self.
Yeah, I just remembered there's a book, Stumbling on Happiness, and usme there's a term called experience stretching. And what it says is once you have had more experiences, then your all other experience get recalibrated, and it's very hard to like enjoy them again as you used to, because you know that there's something more. You know that like before that it was like you don't know what you don't know, so you are okay in ignorance. But when you know it, it's very hard to uh,
Yeah,
enjoy other things. You're like, okay, you want the peak always.
yeah.
All right. I used to want to go
Uh,
next.
Yeah. So basically, this book is like, it's not like some this thing is just like talks about what people in different underdeveloped or just developing countries have gone on to build startups, and how that is so very different from, let's say, startups being built in, let's say, the States or in India also for that matter, right? Like how, let's say, countries like Namibia or something where the infrastructure is literally zero, how did entrepreneurs there, they basically came up with startups. So there's this like very interesting para in the first chapter. It starts off with that where they basically talk about how in developed Western countries street addresses are provided by governments, right? And they're considered table stakes for everything. Like you want to order food, you want to, get yourself delivered, everything, like street address is the basic bedrock, right? But then he's like, when he first met the CEO of the startup called OK Hi, he's like shocked to find out that more than half of the world actually does not have street addresses, right? And in Kenya, where the guy is based, only 2% of buildings only 2% of buildings in Kenya have street addresses. So basically, if someone wants to get it delivered, they give the whole thing where you come this side, then you see a red house. There will be four red house, but beneath the fourth red house, there will be two dogs sleeping. You come there. So that's the address that they will usually give if they have to give, right? So he was like, hey, I'll want to solve the problem. And apparently, according to stats, like more than half of the world lives in a place where there are no street addresses. And it's not always due to poverty, it's also because it is to some extent due to poverty also, where people live in slums or they live in small street addresses and all. It's like, hey, that's it. I really want to solve this problem where they're basically trying to use they're giving street addresses to them in terms of like location based pin coordinates that can be used by other people to basically get the food delivered to them by pinpointing that particular location. So I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. I never really thought of it that way, that addresses that we all take for very granted. Like I know there's a building name, I know there's a road name, I know there's that. I think half of the world does not even have that. Like government didn't bother to actually name that road or name that area, or that particular area that you live in really does not have a name. So yeah, I think that was pretty interesting.
Pretty cool. Which book is this?
So this is a book called Out Innovate. It's by Alexander Lazaro. The title is How Global Entrepreneurs from Delhi to Detroit Are Rewriting the Rules of Silicon Valley. I think it's pretty interesting. You should read it. It basically talks about like I mentioned, like he has picked very small like countries all across the world and how they are building startups, solving problem that does not really go with the Silicon Valley sayings or something like that.
All right. Cool. So I'll go next. So I'll copy the excerpt. So this is from a book, Never Split the Difference. and it is all about negotiation tactics. And I have heard a lot of good praises about this book, so I thought I'll pick it up. And it provides a framework on how do you get about it. So like this para talks about four tenets, which is first, you separate the problem from the person itself. Like, don't attach those two together. Separate out what is the real problem independent of the person. um, Second, like, you understand what their interests are, you understand the problem, you understand what they really want. Without knowing what are they looking for, the negotiation is really um, useless. And I can relate to this, to some of the product thinking as well, which is, let's say you're building a product and you think you will provide a discount or something, and you think this will increase conversions, but was price really the problem of that customer? So unless the customer values your solution, like, discounts really don't matter. So it's about like finding what is the real problem um, of the person. And one more thing that I really liked is, you establish mutually agreed upon standards for evaluating a solution. And like, if it is something very, like, if you don't even agree on what a possible good solution looks like, then again you cannot really negotiate. And this is something that I think I used 2 days back when I was booking a cab, and the cab driver said, ki, "Hey, cancel on the app and pay me 2.5x." And I was like, "Hey, this is like, unless you quote me a lower number, like, this is not even where I can start negotiations from." Because like I just like told him, "Can you like realize you are asking for this much money per kilometer? Can you realize this?" So, and then he was like, "No, I have to come here and then I have to go home, so this distance I'm also counting." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm not going to pay for that." So the negotiation ended then and there, without like any um, I would say, like, argument on any side. So I think it was sort of useful. I just read the first chapter, but yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more. Cool. Ankita, do you want to go next?
Yep. So I've been reading The Mom Test. It basically talks about how any product owner or entrepreneur should talk about their ideas or about their product to their customers. So let me just paste the excerpt. Actually, this book has a very great way of showing it through conversations. Uh, the book first states the wrong or the usual kind of conversations that we have with our customers, and then the author applies the mom test on those and says, wait, this is how you should do it. Because usually when we are talking to people, like, if I directly tell you, hey, is read 30x30 a great idea, most of you are going to say, yeah, it looks good, I might buy it, this and that. But if I ask you, do you read daily? Why don't you read daily? Or such questions wherein, I'm trying to delve into your problem and where it is arising from. And also, if it's a problem that you would like to solve, like face value pe I can tell you, yeah, it's a great idea, I'll buy it. But buying it is a very different thing. So that has been great. And just those conversations, like, once he applies the mom test on the same conversations, you can literally see the difference. Like, the conversations are very long, so I thought of avoiding it. But if you do get a chance, just take a look at any one of those and you can see how, like, you can see the difference, that what he wants you to do and what he wants you to say. So it's been great. I actually realized I was reading it too fast. I completed almost 80% of the book in 3 days because I was loving it so much. So then I sort of like, okay, let's take it a bit slow. And yeah, I'm reading a little less.
Interesting. Any mindset changes you've had? An example you really liked, or like any future conversation you will approach differently?
Yep. Sure. So even at work, I'm supposed to take community sessions from the next month onwards. So I'm actually thinking of trying it out there itself. Ki if I get a student or if I get someone, I'm not going to ask him or her or them, how is the course? I'm going to ask like different questions like, what have you been learning? Why did you take this up? What were you missing in your life? So yeah, I can see a path where I can use all these points and all this knowledge.
The scenarios actually in that book are like really great. I read that
Yeah.
book, so it feels like somewhat, when we were kids, we used to watch the CID, right? It's like a case for a day. It also has like a scenario or like a conversation, and then it will be like, no, these are the pointers. This is where it went wrong, or at least like this would have been more productive if it is like this. So I really loved that approach. Like every conversation we have, if as soon as I read that book, even like in 3 to 4 days, because it was like so interesting. I read it when I was in college. So when I was reading it, when people are talking, I used to like sit and listen. If we get into that
That's
mood,
actually happening with me.
yeah, like every
we could have
word,
asked this better.
yeah. We will be like, yeah, this sentence would have been better if it's like structured this way, or like maybe she would have got a really nice answer if she asked like this question instead of this. So we will get into that double X observation mode while people were talking. That's one thing I really love about that book.
Yeah, I also realized that I need to read this book 2 or 3 times to get all that knowledge in, because ek baar mein I'm highlighting and reading and consuming as much as I can, but to really get the most out of it, I think I'll have to read it 1 or 2 more times.
True.
Just I had a eureka moment, which was like, books are such shared interests, wherein if you like, or if you really love a book, you can like instantly connect. Like rest of us, like we are all FOMOing high, and you both are connecting on ki हाँ बहुत सही. And all rest of us are thinking, okay, what is this book, man? Like, should we also read it? Pretty pretty cool. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's how we started this cohort as well, which is, if you see the original tweet, there's no mention of a solution. It is just a problem, which is uh, key. Are you convinced you want to read more? If yes, then we have something. If you're not convinced, we don't want to convince you. That is like a different market. And the second is, if you need a push, do you know you need a push? Then only, of course, you can like even make a better one. But I think this is also pretty good, wherein you don't have a mention of a solution at all. Yeah. All right. Cool. Quick question on dailies. Are you reading each other's dailies, or are you reading the ones that we share on Twitter, Insta? Just asking so that we know where to put in more effort in.
I read the ones that were posted on Twitter and Insta. ऐसे properly dailies में जाके नहीं देखा सब क्या डाल रहे हैं क्या नहीं डाल रहे हैं.
Got it. I think do you open Discord? Like
हाँ मतलब ओपन करते हैं, लेकिन जितना ट्विटर इंस्टा ओपन होता है उतना ज्यादा डिस्कॉर्ड ओपन नहीं होता, तो
got
ये भी एक रीजन है.
got it. I think I've seen some CVCs. What they do is they also make some Twitter lists or something where you can just follow that, get a list of all all things. But yeah, I think we'll think on those things. Anything else you want to talk about? Share. I think otherwise we can wrap this up early. I think no point in like extending this. I think everyone.
I think probably I'm the only one who reads all the dailies.
Yeah,
because I make the
leaderboard.
leaderboard and those things as well.
Yeah.
So
I
मेरे को
read
सब पढ़ना
dailies.
पड़ता है.
Yeah, so I read dailies based on the books. I am reading dailies of yours, Ankita, like Mom Test. I really love that book, and I would want to like read it again. So that is one book I'm definitely following, and the second is Building a Second Brain. That is another book I'm like strictly following. These are the two mains I picked, and there is one more book like by Naval Ravikant. So yeah, these are the three books. I just like I started following those dailies. So only these three will be like popping up if at all there is like new post from them. So I'll just make sure that I read those three daily. That's it. Yeah. And yeah, on social media, if I am on that, yeah, I'll definitely read that. Whatever is posted, how long it is, I'll read it.
All right, cool. So with that, we'll end this session today. So you have a feedback form in the chat. Please fill it out before leaving the call. It helps us align our efforts in the right direction, because this is the first time that we're doing this. So we also don't know what will work or what will not work. We have a lot of hypotheses, but we also need to know what is working, what is not working. So please mention something that you're liking about the cohort. It's been like 7-8 days now. What is something that you're liking? So we'll continue it. And what is something you can improve. So basically, as soon as you send suggestions, you can send 1, you can send 3, you can send 10, up to you. But yeah, we will sort of like try to experiment it with them in this cohort itself. So that is about it. If you like, I'll just play some music now, and there's a session at 12. If you want to attend, totally option session. What we are going to experiment with is, I'm thinking of brainstorming on a new kind of a modern reader profile, so to say. Like, what would a modern Goodreads profile look like, which you would be like proud to share? So that is something. It will mostly be a deep work session wherein you can join in passively if you want to comment, or if you want to suggest something, you can do so through chat. If not, you can just see me work. That is like totally up to you. Option session at 12. That is all about today. Hope to see you next time. Please make sure that you fill the feedback form before leaving the call. All right, that's all.
Looking at the feedback form, I think we should have applied the mock test on this. Saiti will agree.
Oh my God. ठीक है. I think my bad. We'll do better next time. I think iteration is what matters. So we'll improve next time. All right. See you folks next time.
Yeah.